This is one of my favorite techniques for making type look like it belongs in the shot. I'm going to hit the letter T for my type tool, and I'm going to put the text, "The Singing Pug," here as if it was engraved in the building. I'll click once, and I'll start to type. I'll zoom in with Command plus or Control plus. And I'll do a select all, Command A or Control A. I'm going to use a font that looks a little bit Roman, which is Trajan. And there might be a better pronunciation for that. There we go. I'll use the scrubby sliders to make it bigger. And I'm actually going to use a warp effect to make it look like it's got perspective. You can actually choose any one of the warp effects, but I'll try Rise. And with Rise, I really don't want to bend at all, so I'll set that to 0. Every effect will do this. You could simply add horizontal distortion or vertical distortion to get the text to bow a little bit with the perspective of the image. It helps sometimes to zoom out and look at the perspective of the shot. This is kind of casting down and to the left. The text would get a little bit bigger looking towards you. After I click OK, I'll go to my Move tool and hit Command T or Control T to free transform, and now line this up. And I'll use Shift to scale it down just a bit. And I think I'll adjust my warp a little bit more. I'll hit T for the Type tool, and I'm going to make the Singing Pug all lowercase because this is a font that does small caps, so all letters look like they're capital. So if you type everything in lowercase, they'll be about the same size, and that makes it look more proportional to me. Back to the Move tool, I'll move this into place, and here is my power user trick. I'm first going to choose my Type tool and change the fill color to black. Now, in Effects or Layer, Layer Style, I can choose Blending options. With blending options, there's a super secret way to blend with the texture that exists in the building in the background. If I grab this layer and start to pull it right, the text disappears. The opacity changes, so it wipes out all the darkest parts because I'm in the dark end. But if I pull underlying layer to the right, I'll hit a point where it starts to pick up the texture of the building itself and mask away parts of the letters. To see a little bit of each, I can hold down my Option or Alt key and actually rip these two apart to get a little opacity or transparency as I move these, to really make it look as if it belongs in the building. That's better. And now I'll apply a bevel and emboss, and I might want to do a very subtle bevel so it doesn't look too fake. So I made the depth 20 and maybe the size 2 pixels. And I might want a little bit of an inner shadow and a drop shadow, which is now moved to the bottom, but I want my drop shadow very soft, only 20% opacity, and again, a very small size. And when I click OK and hit Command 0 or Control 0, I'm a little closer to perfection. I could play with this for a while, but I could simply double click on Effects to get back here and play with the opacity settings until I'm happy with the masking amount of the words in the background. Sometimes I'll even do a blur so the letters don't look so sharp, and I could use Free Transform, Command T or Control T with the Control key to keep playing with the perspective so it looks like it belongs in the building. And that is my power user tour of how to use the blending options of the underlying layer to mask text away so it looks like it belongs with the texture of a building or surface that you're putting it on.